It's called Living Free, and it centers around walking in the freedom that Christ has called us to live in. You know, so many of us walk through life and we become bound by so many different things, whether it's anxiety, depression, unhealthy relationships, negative thinking, and that's not how we are to live. God wants us to live in freedom. In fact, Jesus said that he came to set the captive free, and he wants every one of us to live in freedom. And so this program, I hope today, will help you either continue on your road to freedom or help start your road to freedom. And today I would like to talk about confrontation. And some of you guys think, oh, that's a bad word, don't like it. Some of you are like, yeah, go confrontation. I like it. Well, I'm calling this episode Caring Enough to Confront. And I will have to say that this came from a book that I read quite a few years ago, actually. I was thinking back on when I had read this book, and a supervisor of mine, I believe, had given me this book for various reasons. Obviously, she recognized that I needed to learn how to confront in a healthy way, and I'll tell you why. And so this book was called Caring Enough to Confront, and it's by David Augsburger. It's an old book, but it's very, very good, I'm going to tell you. So when we talk about caring enough to confront, we are talking about confrontation, and different personalities are okay with confrontation. So some personalities are like, I have no problem. If I need to tell somebody something, I can go right up to him. Other personalities, oh yeah, don't like that. I don't like to confront. I don't like conflict. I don't like confrontation. And to be honest with you, that's my personality. I don't like confrontation. I am one that let's all be happy. Let's all get along. Let's walk in peace. But as you know, you cannot go through life without conflict and confrontation. So that's always been a hard part for me. And this supervisor that I worked under recognized that and gave me this book. And it was very helpful to me because in this book, it talks about how confrontation and conflict is not a bad word. In fact, to have healthy relationships, you have to have conflict and you have to have confrontation. It's just how we view confrontation and conflict and how we handle it. And so if you're an avoider like me, you probably are walking away, running away from conflict, running away from confrontation. At the first sign of it, some things you might do is avoid the conversation completely. So if someone comes and talks to you about something they're upset with you about, you might just shut down, go, okay, and then walk away and then never talk about it again. Or some of you may try to change the conversation. You know, it depends on your personality, how you handle conflict, how you handle, especially if you're an avoider. But I will say there are other personalities, those that say, I don't have a problem with confrontation. I don't have a problem with it. Sometimes they can be a little harsh in it, right? Sometimes they can come to you and be really stern and direct and unhealthy as well. So today I hope I can bring a little balance to those of you who are avoiders and those of you who might be a little too harsh in your confrontation, and that I can bring a balance into it so that you can have healthy relationships. We're not going to have relationships without conflict. It's impossible because we don't all think the same way or have the same beliefs, and we shouldn't. We are all unique. And that's what makes relationships exciting. And you can have relationships. I have some relationships that I'm very similar to the people that I'm in relationship with. And we get along very well, and there's not a lot of conflict. But I'm not going to be in agreement all the time because sometimes it could be in how they handle something or the way they handle something with me that I might not be in agreement with. This is that part where if you're an avoider or if you're a confronter, how you deal with it. So I can talk with my own, I'm very transparent. And as I said earlier, my tendency is to avoid. I have really worked over the years in learning how not to avoid. Obviously, that first supervisor that gave me this book was my journey away from avoidance. It does not mean, since I have learned how to have confrontation a healthy way and how to confront, it doesn't mean that I ever feel like comfortable with it. My personality is not that way. I'm not always comfortable with conflict or when I have to confront someone, because that isn't how I'm bent. But I can do it in a way that is healthy and appropriate. I still feel anxious. Yeah, I'll still get a little bit of nervousness in my stomach, but I don't get to the point where I feel like I have to run and run away. A lot of my clients who are avoiders, that's the first thing they want to do. So they don't bring up problems to their, if it's their spouse or their family members or coworkers, they won't bring up the problems because they don't want to, well, I just don't want to upset people. Or, it's not going to matter anyway. They're not going to listen to me anyway. I get that one a lot from people. It's not going to matter. So why am I going to say anything? Well, it does matter because you need to take care of your own emotions, your own emotional health, and yourself. So sometimes I might have to confront someone because I'm taking care of me in that moment. And so I hope I can challenge you a little bit on why you avoid. And maybe for those of you who are the super confronters that get right in there, I want to challenge you to be a little bit more gentle. And this is why I love this caring enough to confront. You see, if I care about you, I'm going to confront something that's going on that maybe is bothersome to me, or I feel like it's hindering our relationship, or something that has affected me in some way. If I care enough about you, I'm going to confront it. If I don't care about you, then I won't confront. Now, I have some clients that will challenge me on that and say, that's not true. I care about this person. That's why I didn't confront. But actually, when we start breaking down why people don't confront, it's actually very self-centered, usually. I'm not going to say all the time. It usually, and I can speak to this because as an avoider, I know, and I've worked with for 20 years with clients, some of them avoiders, that the reason why we avoid is because of our own uncomfortable feeling. I don't like that feeling when I have to go talk to somebody about what hurt me or what upset me. I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want them to be upset with me. I'm afraid they'll reject me. You see, that's not about the other person. That's all about me. So if I care enough about you to confront, then I will confront you saying, hey, that really, when you said these words to me, I was really hurtful. It hurt me. And so if I care about you, then I will confront it that way. When I don't care about someone and I care more about myself in the relationship, I will avoid it. And it is hard. I understand some of you may be squirming in your seat right now listening to that because you really do love a person, but you're not confronting issues. And you're saying, but I really do love them. But the problem is you are caring for yourself above the relationship, meaning you're caring about your uncomfortable feelings, your anxious feelings, whatever those feelings are coming from. Maybe it's a past trauma from conflict that you had. I have a lot of clients that come from past abusive relationships and they are fearful of confrontation because they don't want to get caught back up in that cycle. So I'm teaching them how to move out of that so that they can care enough to confront. Now, it is hard. And for those who find confrontation easy or I have no problem with it, they're a little bit harder on the aspect of they'll just go in sometimes like a bulldozer and just do it, not thinking of how their words are coming out. And I do want to encourage you, if you are one that doesn't have a hard time with confrontation, you may need to check yourself at the door when you're coming in to talk to someone. You may want to maybe test it out on someone first. Hey, I need to talk to this person if it's a work situation, or even if it's a tough conversation with your spouse or a family member or coworker. Test it out on somebody first. Say, I need to talk to somebody about this, and here's how I was planning on saying it. What do you think? And get some honest feedback. Because someone might say, ooh, when you use that word, that was a little harsh. I'm not sure you should use that word with them. And you might have to go, oh, well, okay, maybe I need to change the word. Maybe I need to go in. It all goes back to motive. Motive is behind a lot of our feelings, confrontation, conflict, and what's behind the motive when I need to talk to somebody. And so I always tell people before you're getting into conflict, and even the avoiders, when we are avoiding something, I always talk to them, step back for a minute and let's check the motives. The motive for avoidance, and maybe the motive of why I maybe need to confront someone. If someone said something that was hurtful, I need to confront that. And most likely it was not intentional. Many times people are not saying things that are intentional to hurt you, but there are times that there are. And I can think of a recent situation I was in where this person's intent was to hurt me. They were very vindictive with their words. And now in that moment, because of the situation, I really tried to keep the situation calm. So I tried to redirect back to what we were discussing in that moment. So sometimes, yes, sometimes people are saying things because they want to hurt you, but that isn't the majority of the time. It isn't the majority. You know, the majority of the time, most of us are wanting we're kind of coming out the gate impulsive. Our feelings are hurt. We're frustrated about something. So when I have to go to someone and I have to share how I feel because of something they said, I need to take care of my feelings. I need to take care of that healthy and appropriate way. That's where it comes in. I care enough about you and our relationship to confront this issue. And that could be, maybe you're in a relationship with someone where I had a situation one time with some clients that alcohol was a problem. The person wasn't, an alcoholic where they were drinking every night, but when they would drink alcohol and too much of it, they would become belligerent, insulting, and hurtful. And so working with this person, they're like, I don't want to confront this. I don't just going to create conflict. It's going to cause a problem. And I'm like, but you have to care enough to confront. And sometimes that's how we're talking to someone. And so I coach this person. When you come to that person, all you have to do is just say, I care enough about you to confront this situation. I care about you. That's why I'm bringing this to you. I care about our relationship. I care about you. And when you drink too much alcohol, you become very aggressive verbally and you say very hurtful things. And I care about our relationship. I don't want our relationship, being destroyed or our relationship falling apart. I care enough to confront. A lot of times when we come to people in that tone and using those words, it makes a difference. It's how we come in with confrontation that makes it healthy or unhealthy. Unhealthy confrontation or conflict is, you come in and you're very demeaning, demanding, insulting, vindictive with your words. You're not getting anywhere with that type of confrontation. And it isn't healthy either, because your intent is to manipulate, control, and the other person or the situation. So if you find yourself doing that, you may want to work, if you could do it yourself, train yourself out of it. But a lot of times I find you'll have to work with somebody because there's reasons behind that. There might be some insecurity. There may be past relationship patterns that you're in, whether it was what you were modeled growing up, what happened in your home. Sometimes the first question I'm asking clients when they come into they come in for an intake session, that first session with me, I'm asking about their family of origin. How was conflict handled in your home? How did your parents handle conflict? Because a lot of times we'll either repeat what we've seen to some degree, or we will go completely the opposite direction of what we saw or experienced in our home. So I would encourage you to do some self-evaluation on that part for you. But when we care enough to confront the voiders, you're going to have to get comfortable or semi-comfortable with addressing hard things. And usually there's this fear of rejection. A lot of avoiders fear I'm going to be rejected. The person's going to be mad at me. They're not going to like me anymore. They're not going to want to be my friend anymore. They're not going to want to work with me anymore. My spouse is going to dislike me and be upset with me. Well, sometimes people do get upset when we have to bring something to them, but that's in their area. If we do it in a healthy way, you're actually going to make your relationship better. You see, when you avoid and you don't care enough to confront, you don't care enough about the relationship to confront, you're going to get bitter. Avoiders will be like, well, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. But trust me, I work with a lot of avoiders. I was an avoider myself. And when we don't deal with things, we tuck it inside and it festers. And as it festers over time, other things come in, we tuck it inside, and then it compounds the issue. And you will get resentful and you will get bitter, and it will come out somewhere, and it will come out sideways, and it will blow up. This is why we do not want to avoid confrontation. It's why you want to sit with somebody and say, I care enough about you and our relationship to confront this. And that's how I teach my avoiders how to talk. Because see, that comes in more soft. Avoiders aren't the hard, harsh, come out of the gate with the vindictive words. Avoiders want to come in a more gentle way because that's their personality. So that first step is you can sit down with someone, and I teach the hard confronters that same verbiage. I care enough about you to confront this. You see, that kind of just calms the whole situation. If think about it, if you and I had some type of a disagreement or something that happened, or maybe I felt harmed or hurt by you, and I come in and I sit down with you and I said, hey, you know what? I really care about our relationship. I care about you. And because I care about you and our relationship, I care enough to confront this situation. And when you said this to me and when this happened, it really hurt my feelings. And maybe you didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but it really did. And I care enough about us and our relationship to talk about this. Doesn't that seem much more, would you be like, oh, I would love for somebody, if that was confrontation, I would love for that to happen to me. Yes, because it's gentle. And you know what? It feels good. Even if you're the one who's been, if you have the one who offended, if someone comes to me and says that to me and I have offended them, wow, it makes me want to go, oh my goodness, I do care about our relationship. I'm so sorry I said that. Because see, what it does is it brings the relationship to the forefront. Not my pain, not my hurt, not my, frustration with what you did. It brings the relationship to the forefront and says, you see this, our relationship, it's really important to me. And I care enough about our relationship to talk about this or to confront this. And there are many things. It doesn't matter what it's about. But if I come to someone and say, I care enough about you, I care enough about our relationship to confront this because I don't want anything to hinder us from moving forward in our relationship. I don't want anything to stop what we're doing. Because you see, conflict can actually come in and build a wall if it's not done appropriately. And you know that. I bet every person listening to me can think of a relationship or think of some type of situation with someone that the conflict and the confrontation built a wall instead of a bridge. See, when I come to someone, I say, I care enough about our relationship to confront this. I'm actually building a bridge so that we can resolve that and we can continue our relationship. But if you come in and you come in harsh and demanding and vindictive, I want to hurt you because you hurt me and I'm mad at you, you just built a wall and you most likely damaged that relationship pretty bad. Not that it can't be repairable, but it'll be a lot it's going to take a lot to repair it. Or if you come in with avoidance, you're building a wall. And the thing about the avoidance is you're building the wall on your side because the other person doesn't even know. So when you use avoidance, I'm building a wall. The other person has no idea this wall. They just know that when they come a certain area, they're hitting something like, hey, this is weird. What's happening here? You're acting kind of strange. I can't get past this. You're building a wall. We don't want walls. We want bridges. And the only way to build a bridge is by healthy communication. And so I want you to think right now, I want you to think of a relationship, a situation that you're in right now. And I'm not sure anyone can say, oh, I have no situation where there's no confrontation or conflict, because then you're not in any relationship at all, because all relationships have conflict. And I want you to think of a specific one in mind that you're thinking, yeah, I think I need to go to that person. I think I need to use that term. I care enough about you, or I care enough about our relationship. I care enough about our business. I care enough, whatever it is, and begin to build that bridge. And it's hard if I will talk for a moment about something that's difficult is when you have someone who doesn't want a bridge. That makes it difficult. When you're trying to build a bridge and there's somebody on the other side that, for whatever reason, and people will, in conflict, that people are going to have their reasons and they're going to believe their reasons are right, and I can't change it. You can't change it. But you can still talk to them about it. And I referred to something earlier where I sat with someone I have a relationship with, And the person was very vindictive, very angry, now obviously they feel in their mind that they are right about what happened. But what they did when they came to me is, instead of building a bridge, I felt like they took a bomb and just threw it right in front of me. And that was really hard. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was very difficult. And when you have someone do that, you have to really just sit back and you have to just be calm, because the last thing you want to do is throw a bomb back. See, I'm not in control of the other person, and I can't control what they're going to do. But see, I can control what I'm going to do. And if I care enough, and I do care about this person, I care about the type of relationship I have with this person, but I can't force this person to want to build a bridge to work. But you know what? I can offer a bridge. And I did. In that situation, I did. I offered a bridge. So what does that look like, offering a bridge when someone throws a bomb at you? Well, I care enough about the relationship to confront. So I'm going to offer to build a bridge by maybe saying, hey, I think we need to talk to somebody about this, because I'm concerned we're not getting anywhere. And some of the things you said were very, very hurtful or very hard to hear. I would love for us to go talk to somebody. So you can throw that out there to try to build a bridge, and they can receive it or not. You can tell the person, you know what, I'm hurt too. I really want reconciliation. I want us to reconcile this. You can throw things out there to try to build the bridge, but you can't make them accept it. It is hard when the person does throw a bomb, and because you're wounded at this point. Remember, if someone throws a bomb in front of you, you're not going to walk away and go, whoa, there's a bunch of smoke. No, bombs do damage. Word bombs do damage. Now, I did throw out to try to build a bridge with this person. They actually declined. I offered to have us meet with someone so we could resolve this conflict. They did not want to meet with someone. I even threw out, hey, I want reconciliation. That's my desire, because I do. And you know what this person said back to me? I don't think reconciliation is possible. Now, I can't control that. And you might find, and some people are like, well, this is why I don't confront, or this is why I don't do. But you know what? It would have happened anyway. If that confrontation doesn't, you see, we have to care enough to confront, and you can't control whether that other person is going to receive it or not. But if you care enough about people, you care enough about relationships, you care enough about yourself, you're going to confront gently. And you cannot control. And you're right. Sometimes you're going to have somebody throw a bomb at you and you can't control. But you know what? That bomb was going to come anyway. I hate to say it. Whether you go to confront issues or not, the bomb is coming. So you might as well gently do it to try to build a bridge, and whatever they do, they do. But I want to encourage you today, if you're an avoider, stop avoiding. You need to care enough to confront. You have to move away from your own anxieties, your own fears of rejection, your own fear of conflict, and people are going to be mad at me. Work through that. You might want to work with a counselor through that, because that's coming from somewhere. Not just a personality style, but there's reasons behind it as well. If you're one of those that's really harsh and you come in with a punch, take a step back and use that phrase, I care enough about a relationship to confront. Don't make it all about you. Both sides tend to make it all about ourselves. I want to avoid conflict because I don't want people to be mad at me. I don't want them to be upset with me. I don't want to be rejected. The other side is, I want you to hear my point, and I think you need to know what I'm talking about, and you need to come to the light of what I'm saying. So both sides are coming from very selfish places. What I'm asking you to do is to care enough to confront and put the relationship in the middle. And place in the middle and say, I want to build a bridge, and I care enough about this relationship to confront this issue. I care enough. I care enough about you. I care enough about our relationship. I care enough about our business. I care enough about our church. I care enough about our family. And start to try to build that bridge. And you know, God will honor that, whether the person throws a bomb or whether they receive it. Most people are going to receive it. Very few times you're going to get someone throw a bomb at you, but there will be times you will. Most generally in marital relationships, family relationships, most of the time when you come with that, I care enough about our relationship to confront this, and I really want us to work past this, but when you did this over here, it was very hurtful. You know, make sure you can express that. You know, that I felt very hurt when you said these words to me, or I felt invalidated when I shared my feelings and you just made that negative comment. Whatever it is, just care enough, use that phrase, to confront so that you can build the relationship. You know, the most important relationship of your life is going to be the relationship with Jesus Christ. And he already built that bridge to have a relationship with you. That's when God sent his son Jesus to die on the cross, to bridge that gap so that you could have relationship with him, right standing, and always know that he's there with you. He'll never leave you or forsake you. It's really simple. All you have to do is say, Jesus, I want relationship with you. I know I'm a sinner. I know that you're the Son of God. You died. You rose again for my sins, for my salvation. I receive you into my life. I want you in my life. I want you to be my Lord and Savior. Come into my life. And if you did that, that's it. You are now in relationship with Jesus Christ. He's there to help you. He wants you to have healthy relationship because our God is a God of relationship. And so I just pray today that this segment here has helped you maybe move forward in having some freedom in your relationships, to help you walk in freedom, that you're not going to stay in toxicity, but you can move in a healthy way to have healthy conflict. Because those two words can go together. Healthy and conflict can go together. And I hope today that I have helped you bridge that a little bit of bringing healthy and confrontation together. And I hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. I hope it's helping you move forward in your walk in freedom or started you on your journey to freedom. And I hope you will join me next time and move forward today, living free.